Get ready. Straight from the streets of LA.
Lower Alabama, that is.
We're talking SEC football, and that's all. This is AP and Kelly as we see it.
I'm all about that action. I'm all about that action. I'm all about that action. I said I'm all about that action.
I'm AP Stedham from LA, Lower Alabama.
And I'm Kelly Finley, journalist of more than 24 years, covering news and notes, of course, and all things college football.
This is AP and Kelly as we see it, a syndicated weekly 1-hour show discussing the Southeastern Conference and always keeping an eye on the national college football scene and more. Hey, Kelly.
Hey, AP, or as I love to call you, hey, co-host. How is it going?
I'm good, Kelly. I'm good. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great to be here. And college football, Kelly, it's been so fascinating
Oh,
these
my
first 5 or
goodness.
6 weeks.
Absolutely. And you know what? The beauty of technology makes us one big happy family, right? I
Yes.
have to tell you, I was reliant on all of your posts and all of your videos and all of your pictures. And if you're like me, you want to stay in the loop, you got to follow us on social media, Facebook and Instagram and X, because that's where you can see games that maybe you weren't able to watch in person, like AP, games you just want to keep up on. Or for me, I was at a game that I've never seen a score like that in my life. I was at the UAB game, UAB and
Yes.
Tulane. So I wanted to know more about other games. Let's just put it that way. And so
Right.
that is why our social media is so important. When you follow us there and on our YouTube channel, you get to see previous shows as well as watch this show and listen too.
Yeah, you can look on the ticker and follow us on the YouTube channel, which is
Yeah.
brand new for us. The last 5 or 6 weeks, we've really been enjoying this video and having a lot of fun. So, and then the reason we're able to see some games, Kelly, is we able to travel and we have our sponsors.
That's right.
So we have to mention our sponsors, Greer's Markets. We know we have Lucy's, the chef. She has all those recipes on her page. Greer's has those specials for the football games. Remember, family, friends, and football. It's that time of year. You get all the items the delicious snacks and the food and the beverages. But if you can't make it and you're busy preparing things because so many people are going to be at your house or your venue, you can go on Groceries to Go and order everything right there and it'll be delivered to your venue, your home, your office, wherever it may be. So, and remember, Kelly, all the time we go to Greer's, I always find something different. But,
I
I'm not
know.
even looking for it. I'm going to say, my
It
goodness.
it hops in your buggy. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, it's all the time. It never fails me. So remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it.
Yeah, I had to make a pit stop there the other day after a workout because I really needed something good and fresh, and they fulfilled that and then some. But extra items did make its way to the buggy, and I'm happy it did.
Absolutely. Kelly, we have Wind Creek, and I know you love this commercial specifically because if you tell the folks at Wind Creek you're a first-time player, you sign up at the player's desk and mention that you heard this advertisement and
Mhm.
promotion on our show, Kelly 25, that's Kelly with a Y. They'll give you the $25 bonus to have a lot of fun that day. And then, Kelly, there's an extra possibility of a $1,000 rebate for the first-time members. So check that out as well. So look
I
on our
love it.
ticker here, and it's
Mhm.
the 3 locations in Alabama: Atmore, Montgomery, and Wetumpka. So Wind
That's right.
Creek, check it out. Kelly 25 with a Y, and it's our Kelly. Remember that, it's our Kelly.
Well, I'm
Nobody
just
else's
saying,
Kelly.
if you
Yeah,
want to have fun, you want to have a memorable time, you want to have an epic time, you have to have a Kelly with a Y involved. The others, mm-mm.
our
It's all
Kelly.
about the Y.
It's our Kelly for
Don't you
sure.
remember? Don't you remember Cheers back in the day when Woody had the song, the Kelly song?
Oh, I don't remember that
Oh
Kelly,
my
but
goodness! Well, YouTube is so good we can all look at it, but you'll start singing that song too. It's a good thing.
for sure,
Kelly
for sure.
25.
And then we want to mention Robertsdale Dental Care. Dr. Jason Northcutt. Not only does Dr. Jason Northcutt offer basic full-service dental treatment, but Dr. Jason Northcutt has developed a niche within the practice where he provides comprehensive dental implant services such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. Dr. Jason Northcutt has been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable, long-lasting solutions to major dental problems. Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt and his staff at Robertsdale Dental Care, 251 888-947-3636. And we run that on our ticker, Kelly, so people can check that out as well.
That's right. And when you see us posting online, you can also just click on that name and it takes you right to the Facebook page of all of our sponsors that we've mentioned. So you can see how much they're very involved in the community and why it is they're aligning their forces with our AP and Kelly as we see it forces, because we're all about that winning streak and we're very appreciative of them. So, okay, so last week, where were you when you were posting all your pictures and videos for those who don't know?
Yes, I took a step outside the conference as we always do every year because we're trying to preview the opponents that might be in the college football playoffs. So we're in Big Ten country, Columbus, Ohio, the Ohio State University versus the Iowa Hawkeyes. And that was a 35-7 game. It was 7-zip at halftime. Ohio State led. But they had that sensational freshman receiver. Alabama has Ryan Williams from Saraland High School. They have Jeremiah Smith, the big receiver. They grabbed him with his left arm, running down the sideline to the left. The ball was thrown in the air. He reached back at the peak with his right arm fully extended, grabbed it one hand for a touchdown.
Listen, the freshmen are letting people know you better
Yes.
recognize that they're here and they're here in a big way. And I love what they're doing because it's so easy to focus on, oh, well, they were a 5-star in high school, but they won't be able to step it up to this level of play. These young people, they're a little different. They've been studying different. They've been training different. They've been eating better earlier in life. And so all that is coming to fruition. And look, you better just make a point of recognizing that these young men have some serious talent.
Yeah,
Even if you were
sensational.
at Ohio State, because
Ohio State.
my Michigan people were looking at you like this. I just want to say.
with the giving me the shade.
That's
I
right.
hear you. But just to recap, Ohio State, they got two good running backs. One of them's Quinshon Judkins from Pike Road in Alabama, transferred from Ole Miss, two-time All-SEC performer. He's with Ohio State. Caleb Downs, a sensational freshman, was an All-American in Alabama. He's with Ohio State. Seth McLaughlin, the center from Alabama, he is starting for Ohio State. So that's three players from the SEC that are starters, and they have a very good team, two excellent receivers, two good running backs. With Howard, the transfer quarterback from Kansas State, who we spoke to at the Manning Passing Academy this summer in Thibodeau. He's a winning quarterback. So Ohio State, excellent offensively, good defense. They're going to challenge. They should be in the playoffs. But anyhow, Kel, we got to move on because the clock is ticking.
Yeah, it is. It is. I just real fast. The only recap I wanted to add: the UAB Tulane game, 70-20. UAB was not on the winning end, and there's many calls for Trent Dilfer to be removed as the coach there. We remember him when he played in the NFL. So that's all I got for my recap.
Right. He can't defend the three-pointer. Can't defend the three-pointer. I hear you.
Yeah. Anyways, as they say. All right, let's get to our games. First up, you've got SC taking on AL. Explain who the teams are and what we need to know about both.
Right, USC to the east, that's South Carolina versus Alabama. But Kelly, we just want to digress for a second. We're going to go back to math class. Remember the transitive property in math class? X equals Y, Y equals Z. So that means X equals Z. Well, in college football, Alabama beats Georgia, loses to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt loses to Georgia State. Does that mean Georgia State can beat Georgia? I don't think so. So we know there's not a transitive property in college football. We saw Tennessee lose to Arkansas. We'll discuss that. And then Arkansas had lost to an Oklahoma State that was 3-3. Could Oklahoma State beat Tennessee? I don't think so. LSU lost to USC. USC lost to Minnesota, a 3-3 team. So, and I don't think that's going to happen. Ole Miss lost to Kentucky, that lost to South Carolina. Yet Ole Miss beat South Carolina last week, 27-3. So there's no transitive property if you're looking at your team trying to figure out, oh, we beat so-and-so, therefore we should beat the next team. Doesn't work that way. But anyway, on to the game. Alabama, South Carolina. Alabama coming off that horrific historical loss to Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt is 1-60 against the top 5 team. Alabama, I think that's the 4th time, Kelly. They were number 1. They lost to an unranked team. Alabama offense, big O, small D, no defense. No defense. They can't play defense. They have up 40 points. Yeah, so they've got a lot to work on if they want to be a championship caliber team. South Carolina, no offense, 3 points at home against Ole Miss. They play that musical chair quarterback sometime, occasionally. Lenore Sellers, the preferred choice, and Robbie Ashford, the transfer from Auburn. Alabama, 21-point favorite. They're the number 7 in the team. They dropped from 1 to 7, Kelly. So total defense, South Carolina, 22. Alabama's defense, Kelly. Alabama, 50. Right about the middle.
Are you sure
Average.
that's the real Alabama?
We've got to check underneath the jerseys or something,
right.
Kelly. I don't know. I don't know.
This sounds
Imposters on
this
defense.
sounds very Milli Vanilli-ish if this were singing.
Right. Pretenders, right. Yeah, they got the lip syncing by the defense, yes.
Right.
I think, Kelly, you're right on that one. I think you're right. But 50, Alabama's, I can't remember when they were 50th for total defense at this point.
But I hope people pay attention, because when they won the big games just early a few weeks ago, everybody was loving Coach Kalen DeBoer, right? And now all of a sudden, people will turn on you. You better have your game plan in place with whatever you're going to do. You better get that offense. You better have that defense, because that's how you continue to go in the right direction of the standings.
Oh, yeah. 2 guests coming up, Kelly, from the Oklahoman, Jenni Carlson, from the Houston Chronicle, Kirk Bohls. We're going to discuss the Red River rivalry. I said that. I don't have to repeat it now, do I? Texas versus Oklahoma. So big ball game, and we're going to be right back after these messages with AP and Kelly as we see it.
Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it.
Let the games begin at Wind Creek Casino, where new players get a free play rebate of up to $1,000 based on their first day's play. Just stop by Player Services at any Alabama location and sign up for a rewards account to get all the details. Mention you heard this ad on the radio and give the code Kelly25, and we'll throw in a $25 free play bonus. That's KELLY 25. Don't miss out on our new player promise, exclusively from Wind Creek. Minimum $75 loss required for free play rebate. Get full details at windcreek.com or see Player Services.
And we're back with AP and Kelly as we see it. And Kelly, we have a really cool guest with us. He's going to be a new friend of the show, I believe. So we'd like to welcome from the Oklahoman sports columnist, Jenni Carlson. Hey, Jenni, welcome to AP and Kelly as we see it.
AP, Kelly, so good to be with you guys. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, great to have you, Jenni. Excited to talk all things new, and of course some college football and a little bit of fun in between all of that.
Yeah.
Jenni, can you say the Red River rivalry more than once?
I can type it, but I don't know if I can say it. Red River rivalry. There we go.
You can call it R3, R3.
Right. Oh,
around here, we call it OU Texas. So maybe that's how you get out of it. How about that?
I like that. That's pretty good. Pretty nice. But Jenni, this Oklahoma team, they did the quarterback shuffle for a little while. But we have Michael Hawkins Jr., correct? He's the freshman. He's been starting. He's dual threat. We saw him had a nice long touchdown run against Auburn in this state.
Yeah, and he's definitely the guy going into OU Texas. I think Jackson Arnold, I'm not sure he's played his last for Oklahoma, but he was very turnover prone, and it became problematic for a team that had an offense that really wasn't producing much. A defense that needed somebody who wasn't going to turn it over a lot. And Jackson Arnold just turned it over too much. And so inserting Michael Hawkins in the Tennessee game, played fairly well against the Vols, and then went on the road and won at Auburn. Not an easy thing to do. So, yeah, I think they're riding with Michael Hawkins. They need him to be as clean as he can possibly be. I don't think he needs to be a superstar. Now, if he was, I think they would take that. But I think as much as anything, they need him to not turn the ball over, give their defense a chance. So I think it's going to be interesting to see. It's only his second start, and it's OU Texas against the top team in the country. So definitely some tough sledding, but I'm interested to see how he plays on Saturday.
Jenni, the wide receivers, at one point they had 5 or 6 of them on the sideline. Give us an update if you would at this time.
Yeah, it's been a rough go for the wide receivers. That was the position that starting the year for Oklahoma was widely seen as their deepest and their best position. And quite honestly, the fact that they have as many players as they have at wide receiver has probably kept it from being a complete and total disaster. But they've got guys that are done for the year. Deion Burks is probably the most likely to return from injury. He's been sort of seen as week to week, trying to get him back. It's not a season-ending injury as far as we know. And he would be a huge asset if they did get him back for this game. A guy that had emerged as a go-to type of guy, has home run capabilities, has that type of speed, but also can be a possession receiver who goes and helps to get tough yards. So if they could get him back, that alone would be a big deal for Michael Hawkins to have him. But at this point, they're just really looking for, healthy bodies, maybe not great bodies. They just need healthy bodies at this point at wide receiver. So it has been a tough go for them at that position.
I totally get that, being of a medium age myself. I just want a healthy body. Come on. Okay, so Jenni, this rivalry, I mean, people get real nervous. They're really excited in a good way. You know about some excitement yourself. You recently had a couple of outfit changes because you're back, at the Oklahoman. Tell us more about that. Where have you been, and what do you get to do now that's a little bit different?
Yeah, so I was at the Oklahoman for 24 years as a sports columnist. A year ago, I left to do an internet startup that was all sports media, still in Oklahoma, covering Oklahoma, Oklahoma State, the Thunder, high schools. Unfortunately, it did not survive. So I went the summertime doing my own thing, and ultimately was able to rejoin the Oklahoman in a somewhat similar role to what I was before, but we'll also be doing some longer form stories, projects, takeouts, features, that sort of thing. So although this being my first week, it's a lot of OU Texas. So
I loved your headline. I'm looking at it on X right now. What was it like to return to the Oklahoman? Well, if it gives you any indication, I changed outfits 3 times Monday morning.
Felt like I was going back to school. Like I needed to make sure the outfit was right. I was, had the right shoes on. I mean, just the whole 9 yards. It felt very pressure packed, which I'm not usually a clothes person. I don't change a lot, but I was like, okay, this isn't it. Neither is this. Okay, this has got to be it.
Oh my.
Love that.
So Jenni, you'll have the right clothes on Saturday when I see you, I'm sure. I'll give you the A+ rating. Even before I see it, let's just let you know. You get the A+ rating.
Thank you.
But Jenni, how can Oklahoma win this game? The offense struggles. I think the passing game is maybe 116 in the country. How could they stop that prolific offense and win this ball game?
Yeah, I think there's a lot more ways that I see Texas winning this game. I think Oklahoma's path to victory it's not that they don't have any, but they just don't have as many as Texas does. I think they're going to have to keep this a low-scoring game. I think if the game gets into maybe even the mid to upper 20s, I'm not sure Oklahoma is going to be able to keep pace with Texas. So they need to keep this a low-scoring game and try to win, 10-7 or 14-10 or something like that. Oklahoma's defense to this point has looked very good. So if they can stand tall and who knows, maybe even score a defensive touchdown along the way, get a pick six, run in a fumble, something like that. That would be a big deal for this Oklahoma team and a possible road to victory. But like I said, I just see a lot more ways that Texas can win this, but Oklahoma needs to not turn it over on offense. And frankly, if that defense could find a way to score, I think that'd be huge, but they're just going to have to hope this is a low scoring game. I think that's how Oklahoma wins this one.
I think if you know anything about sports, we know anything is possible at this point, the way this season has been going, SEC and beyond. What's the mood like? Because you seem to have your hand on the pulse of the community and the sports world too. What's the mood like amongst the fans, the city, the university? How's that feeling? How's that looking?
Well, I think Sooner fans are much more excited about the possibilities of this week than they were after the Tennessee game. Obviously a mid-game quarterback move against the Vols. And I think a lot of people were really questioning, what could this Oklahoma team do? But then to go on the road to Auburn, and we know Auburn's not, they're probably not going to finish in the top half of the SEC. But when you go to Auburn, there's a lot of teams. Nick Saban would tell you Auburn is not a fun place to go try to win a ball game, even when Auburn doesn't have the greatest team. So the fact that Oklahoma was able to go to Auburn and win a game in a lot of ways that they didn't have a lot of business winning. I mean, they were behind in the fourth quarter. They had kind of stagnated offensively. Then they get that pick six. And again, when you talk about pathways to victory for Oklahoma, I think defensive points are big. But I think that Auburn win kind of changed the outlook for Sooner fans. I think they felt much better coming out of that game. But pretty clearly, I think that they recognize, this is a Texas team that's ranked #1 in the country. So this is a tough test. There's no doubt. But this is the type of game that you do see things happen that you don't expect. We're way more likely to see a close, classic, instant classic type of game in this matchup, in this rivalry, than a blowout. So I think that is probably also one of those things that a lot of Oklahoma fans are thinking, well, this is the type of rivalry that you just don't quite know what's going to happen.
Hey, Jenni, a couple minutes left. How does Brent Venables coach in one of these big ball games? And I always tell people every game's big. Just lose to Vanderbilt. You'll see if it's big, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, I think it'll be a fun. I think it's going to be a fun matchup. This is obviously Brent Venables, a defensive guy. To go up against Steve Sarkisian, an offensive guy, and we're to my knowledge, we don't quite know yet who's going to quarterback for the Horns. Wouldn't be surprised if it was either of those guys, and both of them are great. So, if it's Ewers or if it's Manning, I still think that's a tough test for Oklahoma's defense. But no, this is a great chess match between that Texas offense and this Oklahoma defense. But, I think Brent Venables, they showed last year, they fall behind with less than 2 minutes left in the game and drive right down the field and score that dramatic touchdown. Nick Anderson over in the corner of the end zone. Of course, basically everybody that was on the field for that game-winning offensive drive for Oklahoma is now either hurt or not a Sooner anymore. So maybe that tells you something. But I think Brent Venables, I think he looks forward to this matchup, defense versus offense. But clearly he knows that his offense is going to have to at least do a little bit of something to give them a chance against a very good Texas team.
How big of a difference maker do you foresee special teams being in this game?
Yeah, I think that's a really good question. Oklahoma had started out pretty decently on special teams, but then they've had some struggles along the way. I think being dynamic in the return game is something you just don't see a lot of anymore in college football. So you don't really expect a lot that way. But if Oklahoma if they get a chance to kick some field goals, maybe even some longer ones, they need to connect there. And they've been kind of up and down this year. It looked good early, but then I don't know. I think they feel probably better than they have the last couple years with their special teams, but and in the SEC, that's the thing. It's kind of like the NFL. You need to get every point you can, every opportunity you have. And so Oklahoma is still sort of fighting that a little bit, it feels like, with special teams. So I'm not saying that they won't be able to convert everything that they're given the chance to, but it's just been a little bit squishier than they'd like it to be.
Hey, Jenni Carlson, the Oklahoman sports columnist. We're delighted to have you on the show, and come back and visit with us. And we're going to be right back after these messages with AP and Kelly as we see it.
Let the games begin at Wind Creek Casino, where new players get a free play rebate of up to $1,000 based on their first day's play. Just stop by Player Services at any Alabama location and sign up for a rewards account to get all the details. Mention you heard this ad on the radio and give the code Kelly25, and we'll throw in a $25 free play bonus. That's KELLY 25. Don't miss out on our new player promise, exclusively from Wind Creek. Minimum $75 loss required for free play rebate. Get full details at windcreek.com or see Player Services.
Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it.
And we're back with AP and Kelly as we see it. And Kelly, we have a friend of the show from Texas, Kirk Bohls with the Houston Chronicle. Hey, Kirk, welcome to AP and Kelly as we see it.
Thank you, guys. Great being with y'all.
Hi, Kirk. It's so great
So
to see you and talk about what we all love around here, some college football.
can't get enough, can we?
Kirk, Kirk, a big Saturday coming up in Dallas, Texas at the old Cotton Bowl. Texas versus Oklahoma, the Red River rivalry. Uh, how can this Oklahoma team challenge Texas? And because Texas is a big favorite, a couple of touchdowns, 14 points or so.
Well, I think first of all, Brent Venables is petitioning to make it a 30-minute game. Only play one half. That way you'd limit the offensive series. I think that'd be a good idea. So, that's a good question, AP, because Texas is like a 2-touchdown favorite. We
Right.
don't see that very often. With these two blue
No,
bloods. That so
no.
we kind of being disrespected there. So, but Texas is number one in the country. They won 17 of the last 19 games, and they are the number one team in the country and rolling right now.
Yeah, they have the quarterback. They have the luxury of two very good quarterbacks. With Quinn and Arch. So, is Quinn going to start? To your knowledge, Kirk?
I can't imagine him not starting. Sark
Yeah.
hedged his bet a little bit Monday, but consider this: Arch Manning's the backup quarterback. He's got 2 starts in his career. That's still more than the Oklahoma freshman quarterback Michael Hall.
Right,
One
right.
start. One start. That could be a sizable advantage right there.
Kirk, is that why? And I'm looking at your X feed. You say why Quinn Ewers has to start at quarterback for Texas against OU to reclaim his team. Bohls is 9 things that you really want people to know. Tell us about some of those 9 things.
Well, it's a weekly thing I do where I kind of just jump around from a lot of different sports, college, NFL, and so on. And I felt that way about Quinn Kelly because as you can imagine, Arch Manning mania is like running like crazy here in Austin. I mean, they haven't changed the name of Austin to Archville yet, but it's not a big leap. I mean, this
Right.
guy, he burps and the crowd goes crazy. I mean, it's just he is such a fan favorite like nobody's ever been here in Austin. And that said, Kelly and AP is that Quinn's been out 2 weeks with that oblique strain, and he's just been itching to get back in there. And it is his team, and I'm not trying to infer that it's not, but it wouldn't be hurt a lot of feelings in Longhorn Nation if Arch Manning was taking a lot of the snaps. So because Quinn's been hurt, this is the 3rd year in a row he's been hurt. So he's got to show he's durable and he's more than capable of doing the job. So I think he's just ready to get back in the saddle there and showcase his talents.
Kirk, I'm looking at a few numbers, and I noticed Texas, which is really a great thing for Steve Sarkisian, number 2 in scoring, defense number 3 in total defense. So I think that's Steve Sarkisian known for his offense, but not so much being a defense. Really a one-trick pony, but he's got another pony on board.
Does he ever? He's got the whole corral going. I'm telling you, this is easily the best team they've had since 2008. Which was even better than the 2009 team that lost to Alabama in the national title game. And you hit on it, AP, because they're good on both sides of the ball. I mean, when you're averaging 45 points a game on offense and you're giving up 7, you're going to win a lot of games. So we really had a hard time pinpointing any weaknesses on that team. You got to look at,
Yes.
Well, the punt return game hadn't been too good and the kick returns, but they're not returning a whole lot of kicks,
No.
because the other team's not scoring very much. So it is a complete team. And one other thing I might point out is that it's loaded with depth, and they'll play up to 55 players in the first half. And that works to their advantage with injuries and whatnot. And in this games like this on the big stage, they'll play a lot of people, which means hopefully they would be fresher in the fourth quarter.
Kirk, you talk about the big stage. How does that play into these players really staying focused on the mission at hand to bring that W home?
Well, I even asked Steve today in the SEC conference call, can you peak too soon for a game like this? Because, they're all chomping at the bit after losing to Oklahoma last year, 34-30, when Dylan Gabriel went 75 yards in just over a minute to take that away from them. So, it's a highly motivated, a very connected team, Kelly. They really seem to like each other. And I think part of that, where Stark plays so many people, everybody's contributing. And so they all feel like a part of their team. I mean, they're probably, 10 freshmen that have played meaningful roles so far. So, but it stuck in their craw last year when they lost in the last minute, and they've lost like 5 out of the last 6 and 17 out of the last 25. So Oklahoma's really dominated them in this rivalry the last quarter century. So they're ready to get back and kind of show Oklahoma they're a lot better this year.
Sounds like there's a lot of sweat equity involved in this one, and when you have that, you've got that pride that everybody feels the losses, but they also feel those wins too.
They really have, and it's so odd, Kelly and AP, that just 3 years ago Texas was 5-7, 5-7. They lost 6 straight games, which was their longest since 1956, 6 games in a row, and now here they are sitting there, 5-0. Brand new team in the conference. They're the only unbeaten team in the conference. I don't think anybody saw that, not to mention number 1 in the country. So, and it just speaks to, Steve Sarkisian and his staff. He's kept all 3 coordinators, all 4 years that they've been here. And there's just been a lot of continuity. And it speaks to the development part of the puzzle, guys, because, when he first got here, that first year they had 0 players drafted in the NFL. Last year they had 11, and I know Michigan set the record with modern day record, I guess, with 13. And they really, I'm gonna say Michigan's fallen off the cliff, but you look at where they are. Texas lost 11, and they're number 1 in the country. Not much
Kirk, you're
fall
hurting
off.
my heart. I'm from Michigan. Please, please, please. Hail to the victors, no matter what.
Well, to the victors. Okay, national crowd. How about national
There you go.
defending
Kirk.
champion?
This is a weekly thing that happens to me every week, Kirk. So
They're on their way back.
Don't be offended. Yeah, don't be offended. We won't mention the Texas win over Michigan. We won't mention it more than once.
We're no fair weather friends.
More than
Fans, I
once.
should say. That's my team, no matter the score.
That's
But
it. Hey, Kirk.
Quarterbacks, they could loan you a quarterback if you want there.
Right. They
Kirk,
could.
Kirk, your name starts with a K. You have to be better than this. We can't stick together.
Hey, that was my first trip to the big house, Kelly. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
And I love the Michigan fans. It was just the opposite when we went to Ohio State, back in 2005 when Texas won the national championship. They weren't treated quite as warmly and nice as Michigan fans. So I salute the Michigan fans for their hospitality.
We thank
That's
you.
good. Made Kelly smile. Hey, Kirk, how does Steve Sarkisian coach in these big games? And I tell everybody, every game is big. Just lose to Vanderbilt, you'll find out if it's a big game, right?
Yeah, I think it's obviously it's more meaningful and more impactful.
Yes,
but I don't know. Who knows how long they've been working on Oklahoma and Georgia? Probably a little bit in the spring, a little bit in the summer, even some in August. Right. So he knows the magnitude of the games, and he knows how big those games are. Not just for the outcome of that game, but for recruiting. And just kind of the landscape and impress prospective transfers out of the transfer portal. That's the one thing where Texas has just really been rolling. Obviously they got Quinn Ewers on the rebound from Ohio State, and last year, they had Adonai Mitchell, who helped him win 12 games last year. And this year,
Georgia, right?
Andrew Makuba, the safety, started 3 years at Clemson, and Isaiah Bond from Alabama has just been a godsend for them. He is so fast. Some people are saying he's as fast as Xavier Worthy, but he's really maximized the portal.
Xavier Worthy at the combine, I mean, I really saw smoke coming from his shoes. And Kirk, I mean, since we're friends, he happens to be on my Chiefs team. I mean, you're just really just setting me up to just be so happy today.
I'm worthy is worthy. We're unworthy of him. He's a big play guy. I'm a huge worthy fans. So
Okay.
he's Isaiah Bond. I didn't know he was that fast. Maybe
Mm.
y'all knew he was that fast for
Yes.
SEC more, but he's a blur. He really is.
Yeah, he's really after that passing game. And Steve Sarkisian, we know he's very good with quarterbacks and wide receivers in an offense. But hey, Kirk, we want to thank you so much for being a guest. Kirk Bohls, a columnist for the Houston Chronicle. And Kirk, I'll see you
Okay.
at the luncheon on Friday in the ball game. I'm looking forward to it. And you got to show me the ropes, pun intended, at that game.
Well, there you go. And bring Kelly with you. I'll make it up to her. Okay. So hell to the victory. All right. Best song in college football. Okay.
You're back on the Christmas list, Kurt. You're back on the
Okay.
Christmas list.
We'll be right back after these messages with AP and Kelly as we see it.
Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use Groceries to Go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it. I'm AP Stedham with Dr. Jason Northcutt of Robertsdale Dental Care.
AP, not only do we offer basic full-service dental treatment, but I also have developed a niche within the practice where I provide comprehensive dental implant services, such as single implants, bone grafting, and full mouth reconstruction. I've been highly trained in those disciplines to offer comfortable and long-lasting solutions to major dental problems.
Come by and see Dr. Jason Northcutt at Robertsdale Dental Care.
We're back with AP and Kelly as we see it. And Kelly, we love our guest, Jenni Carlson from the Oklahoman and Kirk Bohls from the Houston Chronicle to discuss the Red River rivalry. And I think that may be the last time I say it, but we'll see.
You've done such a great job. I mean, it does not compare to when you say Nico's last name, but you do a great job, co-host. You do a great job. All right, let's get back into the games now since we've been on a roll. University of Florida taking on Tennessee. Do you see it on your screen? What do we need to know about either team as they get set to square off on the gridiron?
Yeah, Florida coming off a big win for them. Central Florida, 24-13. They're a 15.5-point underdog to Tennessee. Tennessee was upset by Arkansas. Kelly, something about Tennessee. You know, we know our friend Nico Iamaleava.
Look at you.
We know that he's a very good quarterback, but they struggled in the SEC games. You know, they scored 25 against Oklahoma, 23. There was a safety involved, and then 14 last week against Arkansas. So I think they have something to prove because if you look at their numbers, Kelly, you know, they were one of the top offenses in the country. They still are, averaging nearly 50 points a game. But I think this is a big test for them. Kelly, in this series, believe it or not, Florida holds an edge 32-21. I think they gained that advantage during the Spurrier years, I think, because Tennessee's a blue blood team, top 10 all time in wins. Florida's not, but they hold the edge in this series, which is kind of interesting. So Billy Napier and company, they're going to travel to Knoxville. It'll be a tough ball game for them to win because their offense is they're 74th in scoring defense. They're 101st in the turnover margin. So they need some turnovers. They need to shut down this high-flying Tennessee offense, especially at home. But I don't see it happen. I think Tennessee will win the ball game.
Okay, yeah, that defense makes a huge difference when you have it and when you don't. Next up on our list, Mississippi State taking on those Georgia Bulldogs. How's everybody feeling about this one? Because the rankings have shifted, and it seems like that's really good bragging rights.
Yeah, the Bulldogs versus the Bulldogs, right? So Mississippi State had a bye. They're 1-4, 0-2 in the conference. Georgia, number 5 in the country. They beat Auburn 31-13. In this series, Georgia holds the edge 20-6. Mississippi State, Kelly, total defense 121. That's way down there. 133 or 4-5 is the bottom. This total tackles for loss and sacks 127 and 116. Their scoring defense 109. So, but Georgia's it's got a funny team, like I told you, 95th in rushing, which Georgia should be way above 50 with those type of athletes in the
Mhm.
backfield on the offensive line, but they aren't. But their passing offense is 22nd. Their total defense is 23rd. So they're favored only Kelly by 33.5 points. So one
Well,
Bulldog is going to take a beating.
you did not bring up the fact that Mississippi State has some of the loudest fans, though. I mean,
They do
that
have
does
some
count.
loudest fan, and plus they have a freshman quarterback, Michael Van Buren Jr. from the Baltimore, Washington area. He's starting because they transferred from Baylor. Is injured their quarterback, so that's a tough assignment. I can start something like that. So Georgia will have a field day
Okay,
with their
that's good
Bulldog.
to right as you get ready for that game. Well, the next one I think is everyone's talking about because of what
Yes,
Vanderbilt did last week. Vandy taking on Kentucky. You think that they're riding that wave, that high from winning on such a stage against such a team last week?
I'm telling you that Vanderbilt team, Kelly. The strangest thing is total offense, Kelly. They're 87th. Okay.
Hmm.
Scoring offense, remember 87, 22. They're averaging nearly 40 points a game, but their offense is 87th.
But
It doesn't make any sense,
something's
right?
not math is not mathing in this
Right.
one.
But I think it's Diego Pavia, the transfer quarterback from New Mexico State. You know, he beat
What a story.
Alabama,
What a
beat all,
story.
he was a 20-point underdog, Kelly, against Liberty, coached
Hmm.
by Hugh Freeze a few years ago.
Right?
20-point underdog last year to Auburn against Hugh Freeze again to Mexico State. They beat Auburn by 3 touchdowns. 20
Hmm.
plus underdog against Alabama, put 40 points on Alabama. One was a pick six, of course, but that Diego Pavia, we've been saying this right along. He brought enthusiasm to that Vanderbilt program, anchored down, and they were ready. And they whipped Alabama. They physically whipped them on the field.
You know who Diego reminds me of? He's like the Seth Curry of college football. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? How people
right.
saw him as too small, wasn't so good. He had to go to what, a D2 school, D3 school.
Well, he went to Davidson. Davidson, yeah, they're just
Okay.
Southern
But look,
Conference, yeah.
yeah, but look at Steph Curry from a talent standpoint. I love the comeback story. I love the behind the scenes of knowing when people counted somebody out
Oh
or
yeah,
didn't give them an offer or they were a walk on or whatever. It just makes the story that
yeah.
much better, and you want to root for him. And
Oh
Diego's
yeah,
got a cool name. It makes me think of Doris
oh
Friend.
yeah. He's you'll never forget that name, Diego Pavia. You'll never forget
Right,
what he
right.
did coming from that school, New Mexico
Yeah.
State. Kentucky, Kelly, you know, passing offense 116, total offense 115, but that defense, we know, held
Mm,
Georgia and Ole Miss high-powered offenses to 30 points total, 13 and 17, beat Ole Miss
mhm.
on the road, so that total defense is fifth, scoring defense 11th. And I think Brock Vandegrift is hitting his stride now, playing very good as the quarterback for Kentucky, the transfer from Georgia, and his receivers now are supporting him. So Vandy travels to Lexington. Kentucky holds the series edge 49, 43, and 4, and they're favored by 12 and a half points. So I don't know. I see that Kentucky team. I think they're feeling good about themselves beating the Kelly. When have we've ever said this, that Kentucky and Vanderbilt are coming off wins against top 10 teams? When have
Never
we ever said
ever.
that? I
Wait a
can't
minute.
remember.
And the fact that you haven't even acknowledged the strength of the Vanderbilt students and the fans with the upright the way
The goalposts, yeah, they
goalposts, thank
took it
you.
down.
They took it and put it in the
That's
river.
dangerous.
And put
Yeah,
it in the river.
take that. Take that.
So
Yeah,
I know
man.
this is going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be a high scoring, high flying type of game where tons
It
of highlights are going to come out of this
it
one.
it better not be if because Kentucky doesn't score that many points, so
I,
it
I
better
think
not
that
be.
I think that they're both feeling themselves, as they
Yeah, you
say,
think so?
and
All right.
this is gonna be a good one. Mark
All
my
right.
words. Put
Okay.
that on tape. All
I'm
right,
ready.
next next up, Ole Miss and LSU Tigers.
Big rivals here. Ole Miss and LSU. Ole Miss is a 3.5 point favorite, the ninth rated team. LSU's 13th. The series, LSU holds the edge 65, 42, and 4. We
Okay.
know that Ole Miss, their defense has played well, scoring defense number 3, total defense number 12 in the country. And their scoring offense, we know they can score points, number 10 in the country. We know that LSU has a really good offense. They're 16th. LSU's pass defense, Kelly, Ooh, that is rough. 93.
That's not a good sound.
93. And you got Ole Miss with Jackson Dart and company, some of the best, maybe the best receiving corps in the conference. And so that's going to be a difficult task for the Tigers down in Baton Rouge, but we shall see. Brian Kelly, he needs to play complementary football. He mentioned that in the teleconference
What does that
today.
mean? What does that
mean?
That
means your offense is playing fairly well. Your defense is stopping the other team. You have good special teams, making your field goals, having good coverage on the punt and kickoff, catching the ball, and having some good returns. So LSU, they're still looking to improve on that defensive side. We're going to find out about Ole Miss's defense, Kelly, to see if it's for real, playing against this LSU offense.
And see how that complementary football plays into that one.
Right,
Indeed.
right.
Our next game on the list, we got Mizzou and UMass.
First time, Kelly.
Our friend Luther.
Luther, my man was mad last week, Kelly. Woo, was he mad? A&M.
Tell him why.
They waxed him 41-10. That was the biggest victory for A&M against a top 10 team. I guess the biggest margin. I believe that's it. 41-10.
Whatever they did wrong, what do they need to fix for this game?
And you got to get it to my man Luther. 10 points is not going to make it. And defensively, I think the coaches stole money that game. They better give it the rebate. I think, Kelly.
Rebate.
What do you think? Rebate, right?
They need a coupon or something.
Yeah, I mean, Mizzou's offense is 50th, Kelly. They should be better than 50th, I believe.
Absolutely.
They got Luther and a couple of receivers and the quarterback. UMass 117th in scoring, defense 106. They're playing at Amherst. It's a smaller stadium, Kelly. I've been to that campus before, first time meeting. And Eli, they're so excited to play this game. They're leaving on Thursday to go up to New England.
I love games like that. The whole town is in. It means they've got windows with decorations. Cars are ready to go. Fans, parents, all the kids. That's what it's all about.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got to hustle here at the last game.
Texas taking on Oklahoma is our last game that we're covering.
Right. Series 63-51-5 in favor of Texas. They're doing the quarterback shuffle because of injuries. We think Quinn Ewers will play, as Kirk told us. Texas is defense number 2 scoring defense. Oklahoma has a good defense, 19th scoring, but that offense, Kelly, 121. Can Oklahoma come up with some offense, keep the score low? Michael Hawkins Jr., the freshman, second start. They better hope for some turnover. Oklahoma, number 3 in turnovers in the country. They have to rely on that.
Wow. Hey, the buys this week, Arkansas, Auburn, Texas A&M. That's our show for the week. We appreciate you tuning in to AP and Kelly as we see it. We'll see you next week.
Let the games begin at Wind Creek Casino, where new players get a free play rebate of up to $1,000 based on their first day's play. Just stop by Player Services at any Alabama location and sign up for a rewards account to get all the details. Mention you heard this ad on the radio and give the code Kelly25 and we'll throw in a $25 free play bonus. That's KELLY 25. Don't miss out on our new player promise, exclusively from Wind Creek. Minimum $75 loss required for free play rebate. Get full details at windcreek.com or see Player Services.
Hi, I'm AP Stedham for Greer's Markets. If you're planning a big party or for every day, shop at Greer's for delicious food, beverages, and snacks. Save time and money by checking on Greers.com and use groceries to go to get your Greer's groceries delivered. Look at the weekly ad for more information. 29 locations in Alabama, Florida, and Mississippi, serving the region since 1916. Remember, Greer's got it. They guarantee it.